welcome back. And if you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm off. These are my off days, and I've finally found some time to sit down. I don't even know if it's time or if it's actually passion, because I feel like I lost my passion for a little bit. I meant to look to see where the planets are located, just to see if that has anything to do with finding my passion again or losing my passion when I did. It seems like this is a pattern, and I only know this because I journal, and I seem to go through these transitions, kind of like the planets, around these time periods. And another time I start to lose my passion is like around June. I don't know why. It seems like it's like that all the time. But I kind of wanted to pop on and do another video for you guys because, I don't know, this is 2 in a row. I uploaded a video yesterday, and I'm going to upload another one today, and I feel really good about it. So I'm on this whole kick, about empaths and hypersensitive people. It's just been on my mind a lot lately. And I've been gravitating towards information about, empathic people and hypersensitive people or highly sensitive people for the last couple of weeks, honestly. I feel like my recent experiences are worth sharing with you guys, only because it may help at least one of you that are listening to this video. So I want to share with my soul family my journey and my experiences and my symptoms, my side effects. It seems like other souls that are a part of my sojourn will sometimes experience the same thing that I'm going through. We kind of mirror each other in a way, because I only know this because when we share stories, it's kind of like I'm talking to myself. Other people that will experience the same thing I'm going through, I'm like, wow, I'm not alone. So it's, the same thing for you. This platform that I'm using, I decided to do these kind of videos because I want you to know you're not alone. This whole process can be very nerve-wracking, and it can really make you feel like you're alone. At least there's more content out there nowadays, of people sharing, because back in the day, nobody really shared like they share nowadays. All of this metaphysical stuff, this ascension stuff, spiritual stuff. They never talked about emotional stuff. Everybody kind of just bottled it up, and they thought by sharing it made them weak or something. I don't know. But I'm just grateful that there are platforms like this, and there are people, out there that are sharing this kind of information. So just know that you're not alone. Because I'm a highly sensitive being, I tend to get stressed out very, very easily, like at the drop of a hat, and sensitive or not, everyone gets stressed out from time to time. It's part of our normal everyday life. It just happens. Life is stressful. I've never met one soul that does not get stressed over something. Everybody gets stressed from time to time. But for highly sensitive people who, process stimulation deeply and feel emotions strongly, they tend to stress out intensely. Little things that don't bother other people tend to bother me, like big time. And this is going to sound horrible, but babies crying, oh my God. I can't deal with a baby crying. I really can't. Somebody needs to pick that baby up, rock that baby, change that baby's diaper, feed that baby, make that baby quiet. I can't deal with babies crying. It's not cute. It's, I don't know, it does something inside of me. It rattles my nerves. Not that I want to hurt the baby or anything like that. It's more or less, save that baby. That baby's crying. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. I don't know if it's mother's instinct. I don't know. But the sound of a baby crying, it does something to the inside of me, and I can't think. I can't focus. It just like knocks me offline. It literally does. I can't hear dogs barking. You know that movie Summer of Sam? Where I can't watch that movie. That movie bugs me. And hearing that damn dog bark through that movie just makes me want to throw something at the TV. I can't listen to dogs barking. It's like, shut that dog up. I don't hate dogs, you guys. Don't twist this. I just can't do the dog barking. You know, if a dog is barking, it's because they want something or they need something. They need attention or they're hungry or something. Dogs just don't bark because they're barking. They're lonely or they're hungry or something. So, yeah, I can't do dog barking. Bright lights or loud noises, that overstimulates me too. Or, you know what else? You know what else overstimulates me? Overly chatty people that make loud, annoying noises as they imitate people or animals or electronics when they're telling you a story. They have the power to completely overwhelm me. And I tend to do that too. You know, when I tell a story, I'll imitate people or noises, and sometimes I think to myself, like, am I being overly chatty or annoying or overwhelming to this person I'm talking to? But you know, I'm pretty good at picking up people's body language and energy signals. So if I've ever been overly chatty, I apologize. So you're probably wondering right now, Gabbie, what stresses out highly sensitive people the most and why? And all I can do is share what stresses me out or overstimulates me, and share what I've been told by other highly sensitive or hypersensitive people that I've shared my stories with. And we all seem to have a few things in common that really seem to trigger us all. And it seems like most of us get triggered by noise, like a sudden, loud, or repetitive noise or sound. A loud noise out of nowhere. Like, it could be a fire truck. All of a sudden, rolling up on the side of you, they must get like a sudden call, and then whoop, whoop, and then their little alarm goes off, or they zoom by me. That's really annoying. And especially when it's repetitive, it's annoying. A ticking clock can be very annoying. And I'm hard of hearing, but for some reason, I could tune into that little slight ticking noise, and it becomes louder than everything else around me, and it just makes me feel like I'm gonna lose my shit. And that's all I can focus on, is that stupid ticking noise. So yeah, a clock ticking can annoy me. It's not soothing at all. Or somebody tapping their pen against the table repetitively, just like tick, 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 nonstop, can really rattle my nerves. And I laugh because I'm one of those people that tend to tap shit on the table when I'm thinking. But yeah, when other people do it, it bothers me. I know I'm probably coming off really bitchy as I talk about, what overstimulates me. I don't mean to be if I am. I'm just sharing with you guys. Maybe I'm oversharing. I don't know. Sometimes these triggers will stop me from being able to think clearly. And sometimes I'm like, how do I even get through the day if I'm this overstimulated? And I think that, the most annoying part about it is, for instance, a while back, actually, this was a couple years ago, not a while back, a couple years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. For instance, I was cooking spaghetti. And when I'm focusing on doing something, and I'm trying to be very careful. So I like to be alone when I'm doing something that could hurt somebody else, or when I'm doing something that I really need to be focused in. I don't like to be bothered. I like to do things by myself I like to be in my own little bubble. So there's this one particular day I was cooking spaghetti, my house was full, and I just wanted to be in the kitchen alone. I wanted everybody just to leave me alone so I can focus. I didn't want the grandbabies in the kitchen. I didn't want my children in the kitchen because I was trying to focus. And you know, all the kids wanted to ask me questions or tell me stories. Guess what, Mimi? Or hey, mom, or honey. Everybody was just like, I was just overstimulated by all the talk, all the 100 questions. And it felt like they were inside my energy bubble, and I felt like I couldn't breathe anymore. They were too close to me. I don't know. It was just overwhelming, I guess. And I just wanted everybody to stay out of the kitchen because I didn't want anybody to get burned, by the bubbling, boiling water from the noodles. And, that was my goal, is to keep them safe. Well, guess what? I ended up dropping the pan of water on the ground, and I burnt my feet and my legs. I was shaking. I couldn't focus, you guys. My nerves had me rattled. Like I couldn't even pick the pot up off the stove because I could no longer think about what I was doing. I was just like a person just moving around in the kitchen like I was offline or something. And for a moment, I felt like I had no purpose. Like, what am I doing? And I felt lost for a second, like I had a blackout. And so I dropped the boiling water on the ground and I lost my shit. I did. I was pissed because I burnt myself. And feeling like I can't focus makes me feel like I'm losing my power. So yeah, it just made me really angry. After I had my, little temper tantrum, I reflected on it. I was thinking back on it, and I asked my divine spiritual team to help me, to guide me, to show me how to not allow the world around me to rattle me so much. And let me tell you, meditation is definitely key. Remember that. Another trigger for me is a busy social setting, like a party, any kind of party, or a huge event. As a hypersensitive introvert, I need a lot of quiet time alone, time to recharge and rejuvenate. So loud talking and music tend to drain my energy and make me feel very claustrophobic, like I'm being choked or something. I've shared this before with you guys, that my husband sings professionally for a living. And there was a time in my life when I absolutely loved, touring with him and going to these shows and being around people. I mean, I've always had a little bit of nerves to be around around crowds of people, but not like I do now. I used to enjoy the crowds, but even though I loved the crowds, I still felt kind of what's that word? Claustrophobic. It's weird. It is because, I enjoy it, but I don't. The build up getting to it is kind of nerve wracking, but once I'm there, I'm okay. But as I got older and, was traveling with my husband, for over 10 years or so, something changed inside of me. I don't know if it's because the crowds got bigger or clingier, because, after a while they started to know that I was Freeze's wife. And they're like, oh, that's Freeze's wife. Let's take a picture with her. Can you sign this? And I'm like, you guys have me mistaken. I'm not an artist. I don't sing. I don't do anything. So I never understood why they wanted to take my picture. I never understood why they wanted me to sign autographs. I'm like, I'm just Freeze's wife. But I guess, that's how it goes. I don't know. But, I was happy to do it. But, when it started to happen, I was kind of flattered, confused. But then after a while, it became overwhelming and expected. So it made me feel very nervous, very uncomfortable. One of the things that I made sure of that was written in my husband's contract after a while was to have a seating area away from people that nobody was allowed to enter, so that I would have a safe space to go away to if I did not have a safe space. And some of you guys are probably asking, well, Gabbie, why'd you even bother going if it bothered you so much? Well, because I was my husband's manager, or I still am my husband's manager. So as a manager, you travel with the artist to these shows. You take care of business. So that's why I went to these shows, and that's why I continued to go to these shows, because I'm managing him. And not only did I manage my husband, there's other artists that I manage. So I had to be there for the business aspect of it. So yeah, I still went to these shows, and I always made sure that I had a safe space so that I could retreat to. And if I didn't have a safe space, then I would definitely retreat to my car or the bathroom, or I would find a way back to the hotel, and that's where I would retreat to. And I always wondered why I would be so unbelievably exhausted the next day, even if I did not drink any alcohol. I was like, why am I so tired? Why do I feel like I'm hungover? Like I drank a lot when I didn't. And that hangover feeling that I was feeling was a side effect of peopling, okay? I was completely drained by being around all of those people. And it would take me a good 3 days of alone time to feel normal again. It started to take a toll on me physically, not so much mentally, but physically. It physically hurt. I started to look the way that I felt, and it was like shit. So little by little, my husband started to do less and less shows, and not because of me. He's getting older. He's been in the music business for, I want to say 30 years, 25 to 30 years. So, he's in his 50s, and he's 13 years older than me, so he's a little bit older than me. And he doesn't have that energy that it takes to get on stage, to dance around, and to do everything that he used to do. Back in the days, dance music used to be real big, like freestyle dance music, Stevie B, Lisa, TK, that kind of dance music, freestyle dance music. It takes a lot of energy to be an artist. I'm always asking artists, like, how do you have it in you to do what you do? It's like, it's amazing to me. I'm like, wow, I'm fascinated by the energy that they have to get out on a stage, and, they have to get into character in front of all of those people. I don't know. It's fascinating to me. So little by little, my husband started to do less shows, and I started to book less shows. And he's kind of in retirement. He's not totally retired, but he's kind of in retirement. He only does bigger events, like anything that has to do with an arena show. We don't do club shows anymore, small events. We will still do private events, but not so much so. Another trigger for me, talking about shows, was the flashing lights and the bright lights. They make me feel like I can't breathe, like I'm going to have a seizure or something. I don't like that feeling. It's a scary feeling, honestly. When I see the flashing lights, the strobe lights, I get that feeling when I watch TV too, when they have the commercials or shows that are flashing the lights all different colors. I can't look at the police lights either as they swirl around or blink. It makes me feel like I'm going to pass out or have a seizure. It makes me feel really strange. But when I'm around flashing lights and bright lights that I haven't acclimated to, it kind of makes me feel like I'm unable to focus on anything other than how uncomfortable it is to experience, the lights around me. And I have to focus on making myself comfortable, so that can get kind of exhausting. I kind of have to breathe and talk to myself and tell myself it's going to be okay. I'm okay. And I close my eyes and I just take, I do these breathing techniques. And, that's very exhausting, because it takes a lot of energy to focus when you're in a situation with bright lights and people all around you, draining your energy. Now, talking about people, that's just another trigger for me. I know a lot of you guys are probably like, Gabbie, how in the hell do you live life if everything triggers you? I don't know. But yeah, people, you know, crowds at shopping malls. I don't go to the mall. And if I do, it's because I really, really needed something that they sell at the mall that I couldn't get anywhere else. I do most of my shopping online for the most part. When I was a kid or a teenager, I used to love the freaking mall. It's like, I'm going to the mall. It was like the place to chill or something. It was the mall and roller skating. And, you know, I used to love concerts too. My very first concert that I ever went to was an MC Hammer and Jodeci concert in Rochester, New York. And I had so much fun. I don't do concerts now unless unless my husband is booked, you know, at a show or something, then I'll go. And I never go up front to watch him. I always stay backstage and watch from the sidelines. Or I navigate and surround myself with people that I'm very close to, and I put myself in their circle. It's kind of like a form of protection for me. That's how I feel. And I feel like the people that I'm hanging out with are also like me, so we all kind of like get each other, so we navigate with each other, and we perform like a protection bubble around all of us unconsciously. Like, we're not thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to go stand next to so-and-so and form my protection bubble. I think we just do it. It's something that we unconsciously just do. Another place that I absolutely hate going to is Walmart. I hate that place. But it seems like they're bumping everybody out of business. Even, you know, the bigger chain markets. Wegmans is so overly priced, even though I love a lot of their food that they have there. Tops seems to be overly priced. There's really not any mom and pop shops around anymore to go to. And if there is, they have to be overpriced, you know, to stay in business. So, you know, most of us have to go to Walmart. And Walmart has the highest negative energy rate. That's how I feel. The employees are negative, the people shopping are negative, the store colors are negative. And, you know, I'm not saying like blue is negative, but the blue inside of Walmart is not vibrant like the color blue in general. It's like the color blue in Walmart has been drained from all the love that color carries. I don't know, that might sound really fucking bizarre for a lot of you guys listening, but I don't know. I just see an image of everything good inside that color is being drawn out of that color, and all you see is that color. Like, there's nothing else that color is doing for you. I don't know. The Walmart blue is just a bad color. And a lot of the Walmarts now are starting to change their colors to a tan, to a neutral color. At least the ones in Massachusetts and New York are changing their colors to more of a tannish, brownish color. But yeah, the colors are just, even the colors are negative and low vibrational. I don't know, there is just something about Walmart that feels like it's invading my spiritual space. Like it's feeding off of all the souls that walk through those doors. I don't know, it's just really strange. For me, personally, crowds make me feel very overwhelmed from the noise and the excess energy. Once I had a full-blown panic attack inside Walmart, and I had to leave everything in the shopping cart in the aisle, and I just ran outside and I left the store, and I had to text my husband, I'm outside. I can't be inside Walmart. And he had to finish shopping. Sometimes I feel empathy for my husband because he has to deal with my crazy ass self. You know, and if he didn't love me, he still wouldn't be with me. We've been together for 13 years. So he must really love me. I don't think anybody else could deal with me. I feel like I'd be too crazy for anybody else. He gets me. Even though my husband doesn't share anything spiritually that I believe in, he still gets me. So, and he still loves me. So that's a plus. Being highly sensitive can be a little annoying sometimes because I know that I can be annoying, and I admit that I can be annoying or come off annoying. If you were to meet me, you would think I looked and acted normal, and but if you could just only see, the inside of me, it would be completely chaotic. Seriously, if you could just see what was racing through my mind, if you were able to see my cells zipping through my body, you know, not knowing where to go because they are frazzled, so they're like, they're just everywhere. Everything's just chaotic and crazy. Because, you know, normal, and I'm quoting air quotes, normal things that other people just breathe through, I tend to struggle with. And it is difficult at times. I can function very well in a public situation or public situations, but I find myself completely exhausted afterwards. For example, I manage a restaurant and I also manage the marina. And sometimes I have to meet with people because I'm also the marketing and event, you know, coordinator at the restaurant / marina. So there are customers that come in from the marina, you know, the marina aspect of it, and they come in from the restaurant aspect of it, and they want to book an event, you know, at the restaurant or even in the marina. Sometimes the marina has the boaters that want to book a specific event for, you know, boaters, or we have this thing called Boaters Against Cancer, and you know, the restaurant is open for people to book birthday parties, wedding anniversaries, and even weddings in general. Right now I'm working on a wedding, and sometimes sitting down and having lunch with, you know, these prospects, it requires us to talk and go over their entire event and their ideas. And the buildup before meeting these people, before meeting these prospects, is so exhausting and nerve-wracking. You just don't know. When I'm actually sitting at the table with them or walking around and talking with them, I'm okay. I'm 100% okay. I feel good. But after the meeting is over, you guys, I feel this rush of this excess energy just just pour out of me. And then I feel very weak and tired, like I need to lay down, like I've been completely and utterly just drained, like somebody took out my life force energy. I also struggle to make small talk with groups of people, or, you know, just random people. And sometimes sitting with these people to go over event ideas, it starts off with small talk, and I suck at small talk. And I suck so bad at small talk, I tend to stutter, or I say words that I don't mean to say, or I say them wrong, or I confuse them, or I say them backwards, or I say sentences backwards. I feel like, I don't know, I start to feel like an idiot, like I'm stupid. And, you know, I much prefer a deeper discussion with someone one-on-one, or maybe like 2 people, or, you know, maybe a small group of people, 3 or 4 people. And, you know what else is weird? I can stand up and I can give a talk or do a work meeting with no problem, even though the build up to that is also nerve-wracking. You know, thinking about talking in front of people, I feel like I'm going to open my mouth and no voice is going to come out. But usually when I get started and I finish, when I'm done, I'm okay. I did a good job, but I have to retreat and rest for a whole day. But I have to admit, I'm getting better at coping, at peopling, at my people skills, and doing my job, and not allowing these triggers to frazzle me so much. And you know what else rattles my nerves or triggers me? And may trigger you too if you are a hypersensitive person, is having a party at my house. I get, you know, a get-together. This only honestly became a problem to me when I hit my 30s, because, you know, in my 20s, my house was, the house that everybody came to have their party, their Thanksgiving dinner, their Christmas dinner, their birthday parties, or, you know, just random gathering, the Super Bowl party. Those parties were always at my house. I was never this sensitive when I was younger. I mean, I was sensitive, but I was never this sensitive, okay? I was always sensitive around crowds of people. But I guess close people change it a little bit. So when you really know these people, it doesn't make it so bad. So maybe that's why having these get-togethers at my house wasn't so bad, because it's not like I was opening my house up to total strangers. So I did get a little bit nervous, but it wasn't really that bad. It only started to get, more bad as I got older. Now having like my mother-in-law or any in-laws or friends or other guests, stay at my house, it tends to be exhausting. I love my family, I love my friends, and sometimes I get really excited to have certain friends and family come over, and I can tolerate people in my space, but I can only tolerate them in my space for a little while. If they stay, longer than a day, I tend to get stressed out, and not because I want them out of my house. All of this stress is happening within inside of me. I'm picking up on their feelings. Maybe they're mirroring what I'm feeling, and then I'm feeling that, so they're feeling my stress, and then I'm feeling my stress, and I don't know. I feel like I have to be like on all the time, like smiley, happy Gabbie, when I really just want to be quiet Gabbie over here in the corner reading, reading something or watching my show and focusing in my own little space, in my own little bubble. I don't know. I guess it's just, I guess it's exhausting to be on all the time, not having my own space to retreat to, It's just way too much for me. Good thing some of the women in my family, like my sister and my mother, and even my daughters, quick side note, you guys, it's 7:11 a.m. as I'm recording this. I just wanted to document that. But yeah, my mom, my sister, and my daughters, they're all highly sensitive too. So I think we mingle well together because we know what it's like to want to retreat. So I feel very comfortable when, my mom comes to stay, or when my daughter comes to stay, even with my sister, because I feel like if I become overstimulated, they don't mind if I retreat. And if they see that I'm retreating, because, sensitives, they know the signs. So when they see you in a random room sitting in a moon chair reading a book quietly, they know not to bother you. They just know. They pick up on the signals. So being with them is not so bad, If I'm not able to retreat, I feel like I'm going to lose my mind if I cannot find a safe space to retreat to. If people don't allow me to have that safe space, I probably will lose my mind. I've attracted friends and other family members that are highly sensitive like me, and we don't feel that overstimulated feeling because I think our vibration mirrors each other, and we're able to just find that moment of relaxation or feel that moment of relaxation. I feel like a lot of, the other people that I'm friends with now are, sensitive people, highly sensitive, hypersensitive people. And we know how to read each other's energy, and we don't overstimulate each other. Sometimes being overstimulated can make me feel sick, sick of myself. Like my own intense feelings can trigger me. I'm so sick of myself. I get overwhelmed by my own emotions because they can be so intense at times. It might be love, which is a beautiful thing, but it's also a sad thing, So feeling that emotion of love can be a trigger for me, especially when I'm watching TV, or sadness, anger, anything. And I've said this my whole life. When I'm happy, I'm extraordinarily happy. I'm like so happy. But when I'm sad, I'm fucking sad. When I'm angry, I am the devil. Like seriously, I'm the devil. I don't know how to be like a little happy or a little sad or a little angry. All my emotions are just so intense. People will just laugh at it, because I'll tell them, there is no in between. I'm either really happy, really sad, or really, really, really angry. And they're like, ha, 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 like it's a joke, like I'm joking, but I'm not. I'm 100% honestly speaking the truth with you guys. And I tell them, this is not a joke. It's kind of like a warning, honestly. It feels like a warning. I feel like I'm warning them. It's like, caution. Gabbie is hypersensitive. I should print a shirt that says caution. I'm hypersensitive. Fair warning. And then on the back of the shirt, print I told you so. Oh man. it's hard to explain to anyone just how strong the feelings are. And I just have to let them, pass through me. And it could be exhausting, honestly. It can be exhausting. Another thing that triggers me as a hypersensitive person is confrontation. Oh man, I hate confrontation. Confrontation of any kind makes me so nervous and sick feeling. I hate hurting other people. And it seems like I hurt a lot of people in my past because of the fact that I am overstimulated easily. My feelings get so intense that I can get, I don't know, I turn off and I don't remember anything. I get paralyzed or crazy, not knowing, what to say or do or what I said or what I did. It's annoying. It has been annoying. I've come a long way. So I try not to hang out with people that are confrontational or negative because, hanging out with overly negative people is a huge, huge trigger for me. Other people's moods, they seep into me like poison. I can be having the best day ever and then bam, I'm hit with someone else's negativity and everything just shifts and it really just screws up my whole entire day. There's no turning back. And it's really hard to get myself out of that frequency or vibration. I would literally have to just leave and go home and do some body work, mental work, spiritual work, to get rid of that feeling that I absorbed or picked up while I was out. Now I walk around with a bottle of sage spray and I'm constantly smudging myself, with the spray or with sage itself and my house. And I even have a bottle at work that I'll spray around the office. Sometimes I even squirt the waitresses when they're being grumpy and just be like, psh, woosa. It's my way of showing them I care. I even carry crystals in my bra and I wear all kinds of stone and nature jewelry. And it tends to help me to keep me grounded and I feel safe. What else? You know what else triggers me? This is a really big trigger for me. Is people that ask a ton of questions. Endless trivial conversation too. Oh, that's so annoying. I think that falls into small talk and endless trivial conversation, especially among family members that know that I really, really, really hate it. Sometimes I think they do it just to get a rise out of me. And it's so annoying, you guys. But then there's those people that don't know that I'm triggered easily, like my coworkers, okay? They tend to carry on about things that are not important. And then they want to drag me into their pointless conversations. And I try so hard to smile and shake my head and, be really nice and polite and kind and loving and, blah, blah, blah. And then once I, see an opportunity to make my exit, I leave, I retreat, and I go back to my office. And sometimes I even lock my door. I find that it's impossible to focus. And it's like, who cares about this? That's so stupid. Get back to work. That's how I feel. I just want to grab them and be like, who fucking cares? We're not here to talk. We're here to work. Because they get me into that mood, or they don't purposely do it, but because I'm so hypersensitive, it just triggers me and I end up in that mood. And it's everything's about this is challenging. And I'm in my head, let's get to work. Because normally their trivial conversations lead to gossip, chaos, disorder, and chaos and disorder is very distracting, especially at work or in my personal space. I need everything organized and clean. I need everybody to get along. I cannot do confrontation. I cannot do uncleanliness. I cannot do clutter, or I cannot function as a human being. I just can't. I like to put everything in order. I think about my day. Sometimes I think about my day a day in advance. Sometimes I even do it a week in advance and what I have to do. And then I kind of make a mental list of how I'm going to do everything in that day, that I'm planning for. And I make this list in a specific order. Otherwise, I'm just so distracted by the extra sensory input, and it will destroy me. It will destroy my day. I've met some people that are, hypersensitive, and they're hypersensitive to noises, to sudden noises and loud noises. And I spoke about this a moment ago about, at the beginning of my video. But I do know some hypersensitive people that are a little more hypersensitive than me, or maybe not more sensitive. They're just different things trigger them more. And like a police car, an ambulance, or something that goes off randomly and unexpectedly, that it's loud and I don't know, just loud. That will, it will rattle my nerves sometimes. But there are people that it will rattle them worse than me. And I could totally relate to those people. And sometimes those people are in my life because when the TV is a little loud, it can throw me off, but it will really frazzle them. And I like background noise as long as it's not overwhelming me. I don't mind it. So I'm one of those people that like to have the TV on the background, or a radio on in the background. I love listening to people talk. When I lived in Manhattan, I lived on the first floor, and there were people outside partying and talking. For me, that was comforting. For my husband, I wouldn't consider him a hypersensitive person, but he has hypersensitive tendencies. Is it tendencies? Is that the correct word? Hypersensitive things that stimulate him. Maybe that's what I want to say. Yeah. He has the ability to feel things in a hypersensitive way that will trigger him, like background noise, people talking while he's trying to sleep. We had neighbors that lived upstairs, and them walking around bugged the shit out of him, but not me. It made me feel like I wasn't alone. So I appreciated having somebody walking around like they were wearing bricks on their feet. It didn't bother me. It really didn't. I mean, if I was probably overstimulated already, it may bother me, but it didn't really bother me. I'm weird, you guys. I am. What else? I don't know. I like background noise. I like music. I do like music. I love music. As long as it doesn't throw me out of focus. I like certain kinds of music. And I like my music loud when I enjoy it. But if it's like music I don't like and it's loud, oh man, it will definitely frazzle me. It will fry me, not even frazzle me. It'll make me feel fried. But there are some people that I do know that are in my circles that like to sit in total silence all the time. Me, I like to have background noise as long as it's not overstimulating me. But it tends to drive other hypersensitive people crazy. And I can cope with the sound of power tools outside, lawnmowers, leaf blowers, as long as it's not overpowering my music or my TV or my thoughts when I'm trying to focus. It actually, in some weird way, it's comforting. For other highly sensitive or hypersensitive people, it can be very nerve-wracking for them. I know I spoke about Walmart a moment ago, and I forgot to mention another thing that really stimulates hypersensitive people. I know it really stimulates me, and that is artificial lights. I cannot deal with artificial lights. Even those new light bulbs that kind of look like those artificial lights. I don't even know what they're called. I don't like those. I took every single one of them out of this house when I very first moved in 6 years ago, and I put the old-fashioned regular light bulbs in. I don't care if they're energy savers. I don't like them. I despise them. I cannot deal with artificial lights at work, in my office. I turn my lights off. I will work in the dark at my desk. People will walk in all the time and ask me if you want me to turn the lights on? No, I don't want you to turn the lights on. I have them off for a reason. Or they'll ask me, why are you sitting in the dark? Because I like it. It's just a lot easier to tell them because I like it than to tell them that the artificial light literally makes my skin feel like I have bugs crawling all over me, or to explain to them that I can hear the buzzing noise that the artificial lights are making and they can't, hear the noise that the lights are making. So it's just much easier to tell them that I like it. And also the artificial lights, they're not good for you. They're not good for your spiritual body. They're really bad for you. If you don't believe me, do your research, you guys. Those artificial lights tend to make me feel sick when I sit under them for too long, and they will make my heart start to palpitate. That's why I never leave home without my quartz crystal. I'm always wearing my quartz crystal. At work, I do wear a hat sometimes, from time to time. On Friday nights, I don't, because Friday nights is our busy night. It's our classy night. It's our old-fashioned Friday night. So I don't wear a hat. I try to dress up and look nice. I try to look the part, the manager that I am. The title. I wear my title on Fridays. But for the most part, I do just throw a hat on. And I know it's not really professional for a manager to wear a hat, a baseball cap. But the owners did give me one that has our work logo on it. And, I'll rock it and I make it look so good. It feels like, excuse me, it feels like it's shielding me from all of the artificial lights that are hitting my crown chakra. So I feel like it's protecting me. Oh, I left something else out when I spoke about sitting with people and planning a party. I forgot to mention one thing. Not only does it make me stutter when I sit with people, like I mentioned earlier, and make me very nervous as I, think about sitting with people, but the day of, the said party that I've planned, I tend to get very overwhelmed thinking about it. I cannot concentrate. People can ask me things or questions or anything, and I won't remember saying yes or giving them an answer. It's like I'm in a fog. Like I suffer from massive brain fog. Sometimes my husband or my coworkers will be like, "You just asked me that, and I told you yada yada yada," and I won't remember any of it. Not at all. Like I never even asked. I don't know. I'm like, oh man, I hope this is not the early signs of dementia or something really bad. And after the big event, I go on, a hiatus, because being stimulated constantly is so exhausting. So I tend to go away and recharge my batteries or my energy. I'm sure a lot of you humans, you souls that are listening to this can relate to this. I mean, if you made it this far through the video, it's because you're relating to this some way, somehow, or somebody is like this, so it's relatable to you. And I know I'm coming off as overly stimulated, but honestly, you guys, I've learned to deal with it. I've learned to live with it. Moving out here to the country, up here to Western New York, was part of my healing journey, and I've shared that with you guys. For this overstimulation that I feel through, throughout my day-to-day life. I must drive everybody that loves me completely bonkers. And that they love me if they're still in my life, because I can tend to come off as crazy. My husband, he's really big on wearing cologne, okay? And I know my husband loves me, and I'm going to tell you why. Because he's really big on wearing cologne. He's got all kinds of cologne, and he loves to smell good. And, he loves when everything smells good. And when he cleans, he loves to use a lot of bleach. And he loves to buy those Glade plugins. But I'm so stimulated by odor. Anything that has a strong smell, it can overstimulate me. I love his cologne. He smells amazing. Bleach smells good, I know the house is clean, it's sanitized, it's bacteria free, and those plugins, they smell good when you open the front door and you walk through the room. It's all good. But only to smell them temporarily, not to sit in those scents for a long period of time. because it will make me feel like I can't breathe, and it will give me a headache, and sometimes it will even provoke a sinus infection after sitting in the odors for too long, especially smelling those Glade plugins. They really, really, really mess my sinuses up, and then I could start to smell the poisons and the chemicals that were created, that are in those things that make them what they are. I could smell all of these odors, and then I'll have a migraine headache for like the rest of the night, like a bad, wicked bad migraine. Making this video just made me realize how much of a pain in the ass I truly am, and made me realize how much my husband really loves me, because he's sticking through my crazy. What else can I talk about with you guys? Oh, movies. That's another thing my husband's big on. I know that, I love a good scary movie. I love scary movies. That's my jam. That's my favorite kind of movies to watch, is a scary movie. And when I was a kid, when I was younger, I used to love watching all kinds of scary movies, including like Jason and Freddy Krueger and all those kinds of scary movies. But now I can't do gory movies. I still like spooky, scary movies, but I can't do the gory, scary, or violence, or anything that's like ridiculously violent. And my husband is really big movie buff. Maybe you've seen all the movies on the wall in the background of some of my videos. It's like we have a mini Blockbuster in our house. We literally have 20 boxes, large boxes full of DVDs. It's a lot of freaking DVDs. And we normally do a movie night every night before we go to bed. One of us will pick a movie and we'll watch it. Well, the last couple of years, I feel like I've been annoying my husband by telling him, oh, I can't watch that movie, or I don't like that movie. And he'll be like, what do you mean you don't like that movie? I don't understand. We watched it before. Why can't we watch this movie now? And I tell him I don't like it. I don't like the gore. I don't like the violence. And he's like, whatever, Gabe, whatever. He doesn't understand. Maybe he does, but maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm becoming more annoying. I don't know. So, yeah, I can't do the violence anymore. It just makes me feel a certain type of way that's very uncomfortable for me. I still enjoy watching, some movies that have violence in them. Like, I like watching The Vikings, that program on TV. I really enjoy that show. Even though it has a lot of violence. Honestly, I'm like a 5-year-old. I close my eyes sometimes during some of those violent scenes. And I absolutely loved watching the Game of Thrones. I really miss that show. I wish it never ended. I did. I love that show. I just can't do movies, watching people get chopped up and killed, even though I think in the Game of Thrones some of those people did get chopped up. But again, I did close my eyes like a little 5-year-old. My husband's like, get over it. It's just a movie. It's all fake. I know it's fake. I know. But it stimulates something inside of me, and that stimulation that I'm feeling is fear. Okay? I feel like I'm that character. I'm getting killed. Like, I can channel their fear. Even though they're acting, I can channel it. Like, I feel like I'm channeling it, and it feels very real for me. What else? You know what else is a trigger? Talking about TV, because we're talking about movies, talking about TV, is when somebody is watching TV, they're watching the news. And they're getting really angry or pissed off about what is being said on the news, or hearing people yell about something that's out of their control, that's happening with politics, what's going on with Trump. Me personally, I don't give a rat's ass. I don't do politics. I feel that we should have, a council of elders to guide us like we're a tribe. But everything is about divide and conquer. When someone's angry, even when it has nothing to do with me, can cause me to feel like, it could cause me to feel like I'm starting to have heartburn, like a feeling in my chest that feels like that feeling you get when you get heartburn. Or sometimes I get this weird air in my tummy. in my solar plexus, and it makes me feel very bloated, and it causes pain. And stress makes me, brings on those symptoms. And that stress is created by hearing people yell when they're angry. And when my husband or my dad or anyone yells in frustration about something that they're doing and it does not go well, or they're watching something that makes them mad, it upsets me. It's weird. It upsets me. Even though it has nothing to do with me, it still upsets me big time. I feel like, leaving and going out and going for a long drive and not coming home for a couple hours. It's crazy, It's unfair to make him stop watching the news or TV, because I yell too when I'm frustrated, but it still rattles me. I'm not perfect. I'm sure I'm just being this way. Maybe I trigger my husband. I don't know. I just wish he'd stop watching the news if he could only see the bigger picture. And also my father, I wish he can stop watching the news and see the bigger picture too. It's all a puppet show. I just wish they'd stop watching the news. It's fear porn. They're always yelling at the TV like the TV can hear them or something. I don't know. The harshness of the world is cruel, you guys. And as a sensitive person, sometimes I feel like the world is just too cruel, too rough for me. Maybe I'm too sensitive. I don't know. And then I start to feel bad that I brought kids into this cruel world. Sometimes it makes me feel like I was an irresponsible human mom to have brought children into this cruel world before experiencing this cruel world first, so that I can maybe guide them better or, make better decisions. I don't know. But, I know that's not my choice per se. Being in this world has made me feel like a sponge. I feel like I'm constantly here soaking up everything around me, good and bad. I have no control over it. It just automatically happens if I'm not grounding myself. I can easily soak up, the energy around me with no problem at all. And talking about soaking up people's energies around me, I attract a lot of people to me, and they tend to dump all of their emotions upon me. It's like they can find me, and when they find me, they tell me everything. I could be at the store in a line, and the person in front of me or behind me will just start to make small talk, and then they'll tell me everything in their life that's tragic, that's going on in their life. And the first few times this has ever happened to me, I thought to myself, like, wow, this person doesn't even know me and they're telling me everything. But, this is just a trait of an empath. I guess we just attract people to us. But, if you're not careful, or if I'm not careful, I can easily absorb, these people's emotions and take them on as if they were my own. Being empathic, I feel like there's this huge light surrounding my body that people notice unconsciously. And that's why they're drawn to me, like, kind of like a moth to a flame. They're attracted to me. Now, the healer in me must send out a signal. That's how I feel. I feel like there's the healer inside me is sending out the signal that I'm unaware of, because I'm always attracting broken people. But that's okay, because I too was once broken. So I can relate with a lot of people that come to me with, their issues, their problems, their feelings. But again, if you are a highly sensitive person or a hypersensitive person or even an empathic person, before you try to help other people and heal them, you need to learn how to heal yourself first. And that was part of my journey. That's why I moved here to Western New York, to the country, where I became a hermit for the last couple of years. I've been integrating. I've been healing, you know, just like the saying goes, you know, how can you love somebody else? You can't. You can't love somebody else until you learn to love yourself first. Well, you can't heal somebody else until you heal yourself first. I really learned, you know, how to pace myself. I've learned not to overwork myself or overwhelm myself throughout the years. You know, as a wife, as a mother, as a manager, I have a lot of responsibilities, so I have a lot on my plate. My schedule can, you know, sometimes be very overwhelming, very challenging, and I usually handle it very well, you know, when I plan and I can see the end. What pushes me to the edge, you know, is all the little things that pop up during that time, the time, you know, that I planned my day, you know, and something sporadic pops up. Like, for instance, you know, I'm in it right now. I'm out there doing, you know, my errands or whatever I have planned for the day. And I'll get this text message, you know, out of the blue when I'm trying to focus, saying something like, hey, Mom, can I spend the night at blah blah's house? Even though I never met blah blah's parents, she wants to spend the night at blah blah's house. And I'm like, oh, you know, that'll really just like throw me off. Or I'll get a text from my hubby saying, honey, call me, it's very important. And then when I do call him, it's not even important at all. It's actually something really stupid or a stupid question, something he already knew the answer to. Or I'll have to go off course to do a last minute run to the grocery store to pick up dinner, you know, and it can be anything. The list goes on and on and on. And now I'm shutting down before my long week is even over because I've overexerted myself or overwhelmed myself or overstimulated myself, you know, and I'm done. And then I lose my shit. So I try to pace myself and I try to set boundaries. That's very important, setting boundaries and pacing yourself. And then, of course, after I lose my shit, I tend to recap my whole day or my whole week, you know, processing everything, every little thing, you know, so deeply. I just don't process it. I pick it and process it, you know, everything, every little deep detail. And sometimes I feel misunderstood. I start to feel like a victim. But I've turned all that around. You know, I've done a lot of work within myself. But I used to feel like a victim, like I was misunderstood. And I felt like I needed more quiet time to work through it all. Like, they just don't understand me. I don't mean to come off as this wicked demon woman. You know, I just feel like a lot of people, or I used to feel like a lot of people, and sometimes these feelings will arise. I feel like some of the people that are really close to me in my life should, you know me enough by now, and they should know what overstimulates me. You know, most of the people that are in my life, they do know. Sometimes they just don't have control. Things come up, you know, over what, you know, they do, and I have no control over it, how it's going to affect me in that moment. It just does. But I do have control on how I react and how I live with, you know, this overstimulating side effect of being a hypersensitive human. Even though I do kind of sound hopeless, you know, talking to you guys out loud, I'm like, wow, I'm really messed up. That's how I feel, like, whoa, I have a lot of issues. But honestly, my advice to you, if you are a highly or a hypersensitive person, is to try to schedule in some quiet time in your life, at least 10 to 15 minutes of quiet time in your life to reflect on your day, your emotions, your feelings, everything, just everything, what you're thinking. Meditation is a great way to quiet your mind and help you process and, you know, help you deal with a lot of these stimulations throughout your day. They will help you to be more, or meditation will help you to be more calm. It'll teach you to be more calm, to be able to cope and process better. when these stimulations come up. Learning how to breathe is another great way to keep yourself focused and calm. Walking in nature is really, really a beautiful way to calm frazzled nerves. Because when you're in nature, you hear the birds singing, you hear the trees, the leaves on the trees moving. If you're blessed to live by a waterfall, a waterfall falling is really a calming sound. If you live by water, you could go and sit by the water to listen to the waves. If you're by a quiet source of water, it's a great way, just to sit by it and listen to it. I live by a river, so it doesn't really make a lot of noise, but I hear fish jumping out of the water. I hear random animals, that swim in the water. I hear birds. So there's still nature noises that are very calming. And, these are good things to practice if you are a hypersensitive person, is to find something that calms your nerves. And nature seems to do that for me. Nature has done wonders for my nerves. So if any of you are a highly or hypersensitive person, or even an empath, is there anything that you can add to my video? Let me know. Post it down in the comments down below. Being a hypersensitive person is not a bad thing. It has its pros and it has its cons. It's actually a gift, Once you learn how to cope with it, deal with it, understand it, and learn how to just work with it, It can also be a curse if you let it ruin your life, but it's actually a blessing. You just have to learn how to use it. Okay? I hope you guys found this video interesting. Sending you guys lots of love and lots of light and lots of calming energy. I love you guys. Mwah! Bye.